As we get ready for week 5 this week between our Raiders and the Indianapolis Colts, we know that our Raiders are desperate for a win right now. I mean, us Raider fans right now, we need to see a win. And today I'm going to be giving you guys some of the biggest keys for this matchup to victory for our Las Vegas Raiders to hopefully come back home next week with that W and we could feel a little bit better and have our hopes up yet again. But before I do start with this video, if this is the very first time you guys come across the channel and you love Raiders content, then hit that subscribe button and hit that notification icon button to notify you guys when I upload more videos just like this. Now, before I give you guys the keys, I want to talk about some news that came out today. Now, of course, we know that Brock Bowers did not practice yesterday. He did not practice today, according to Adam Schefter, especially because he's been dealing with that knee injury, that lingering knee injury, and there's been questions on whether or not he was going to play this week. Now, when asked about it, Pete Carroll simply told us not to worry about it because he expects him to play on Sunday.
Brock Bowers hasn't practiced for 2 straight days. Are you concerned about his availability for Sunday?
We figure he's playing. We think he's playing, but we wanted to make sure and rest him throughout. And so we have to list him as questionable, but he's planning on playing.
Now, I will say the same cannot be said for his compadre, Michael Mayer.
As far as Michael Mayer, what do you think of his availability as well?
That's yet to be determined. We're giving him all the time we can.
At the end of the day, there is a possibility that we could see Michael Mayer on Sunday, but at least we know that Brock Bowers is going to play. And even though he's not playing 100%, a 75% Brock Bowers is better than majority of the tight ends in the NFL. That said, what are your thoughts on this, Raider Nation? Let me know down in the comments below.
I got the keys now.
Let's go over some of the biggest keys to victory for our Las Vegas Raiders in this Week 5 matchup versus the Indianapolis Colts. Key number 1, stopping Jonathan Taylor and the run game. Now, we know that the Colts offense flows through their rushing attack. If the Raiders defensive front can contain Taylor and force Indy into a long passing down, it tilts the game in our favor. Now, the Raiders have done a great job against the run throughout the past couple of weeks. Outside of the Commanders game, we honestly haven't given up, over 100 yards in 3 of the 4 games that we played these past couple of weeks, which is huge. But now we're going into a matchup against Jonathan Taylor, who is the leading rusher in the NFL. And he's a guy that could take off and basically fuck up things for everybody out there. So it is kind of hard to say that we'll stop him, but we can at least slow him down. I do got a lot of confidence in this defense, especially the defensive line led by Max Crosby, to do their job and force Daniel Jones to beat us through the air. And at that, I feel a lot more comfortable with that than letting Jonathan Taylor just run all over our defense. Key number 2 is let Ashton Jeanty and Raheem Mostert cook. Now, we know that Ashton Jeanty is coming off of his best game yet. I mean, the best game of his career so far, with a total of 155 yards on the ground and even in the air with 3 total touchdowns and a fumble. When you add on to that, Raheem Mostert did a great job as well, 4 carries for 62 yards. These two look electric out there, and I feel like Raheem Mostert does a great job complimenting Ashton Jeanty, and we need to continue that momentum going into this game if we want any chance to win. We finally got to see the Ashton Jeanty that we were all expecting. And if he can continue to run through defenders like he did last week, and if he can have those long rushing touchdowns, it only helps the offense that much more, especially Geno Smith, who has been struggling so far as of late, but it takes the load off of Geno Smith and the passing game, and it also complements them as well. So the running game has got to get going. It's also good to hear that Raheem Mostert will be the RB2 behind Ashton Jeanty for the rest of the season. I feel like right now the Raiders have a good 1-2 punch in the backfield. As long as we continue to feed them in the backfield, I think the offense should be good. Now, that said, I know that the Raiders have been struggling to win a lot of games this year, but that doesn't mean that you guys can't take any wins as well. I want to give a quick shout out to the sponsors of this video, MyBookie. Now, with MyBookie, betting on the silver and black has never been easier. Spreads, props, live lines, all in one spot. And if you're new, you can use my promo code Samoan today, and any bet that you place up to $500 is fully covered. The best thing about it, though, is you can make a play, and if it doesn't hit, then you're all good, as long as you opt in for your bet back bonus token. So make sure to download the app and join today. Ain't no better time than right now. So let's cash in with MyBookie. Now, key number 3 is taking care of the football. Geno Smith is coming off off of his worst performance yet versus the Bears, throwing 3 interceptions. Now, the Colts defense thrives on takeaways, so limiting the turnovers and playing clean football will be a difference maker for the Raiders. And like I said before, if the Raiders want any chance to win this game, not even just this game, any game for the rest of the season, we have got to play a clean game of football. And it all starts with Geno Smith, who has struggled to keep it clean throughout the whole season. He's thrown 7 interceptions so far and has been killing a lot of the momentum that the Raiders have been able to get in these last couple of games, especially this last game against the Chicago Bears. At the end of the day, the Raider fans want to see a win. We just want to win. And as long as we win, we overlook all of those turnovers and stuff that Geno Smith continues to throw. I know that Geno Smith is capable of playing a clean 4 quarters of football. We just need to see it out there. And I feel like his confidence right now is kind of swaying back and forth. He just needs one bounce back game to get right back on track. And hopefully it's this week against the Indianapolis Colts. It ain't going to be easy. The Colts ain't a team that we could just push over. Even though they lost this past week, they're still a team that's looking to go out there and win, especially at home. I know that Geno Smith takes full responsibility for all the mistakes that he's made so far, but it's one thing to talk about it and it's another thing to go out there and show it. And Geno, we need to see it out there this weekend, because as long as he does his job on the offensive side of the ball, it only helps the defense out and even our run game out. And speaking of the offensive side of the ball, key number 4 is protecting the blind side. Now, with Colton Miller out due to an injury, Stone Forsett is expected to start at left tackle. The Raiders must keep their new tackle clean to maintain an offensive rhythm. Now, we know that the offensive line is going to be the biggest key in this game. They've been the biggest key throughout all the games that we played. And yeah, they struggled for a couple of games in the beginning, but this last game that we've seen against the Bears, they played a much better game all over, especially with JPJ now back in the starting lineup. It helps this offensive line a lot. I don't know what it might be, but they look good out there last week and they did their job. It just sucks that when one thing starts to go right, something else always seems to happen, because we lost our best offensive lineman in Colton Miller. I don't know how long he's going to be out, but he's going to be out for quite some time. And we've heard from Pete Carroll that Stone Forsett is going to step in at left tackle. Now, I know a lot of Raider fans out there are not liking this move. A lot of us are basically rolling our eyes and expecting the worst out of Stone, because he hasn't shown much since he's been in the NFL. Now, I do hope that he does his job. I do hope that he can go out there and prove a lot of us Raider fans and heck, the rest of the NFL wrong. And he does deserve a spot on a roster, especially in the silver and black. But he does have a tough job this weekend protecting that blind side. We spoke about Geno Smith already, and he's already been struggling so far this season. We don't need to add any more burdens onto Geno Smith, especially on the offensive line. So Stone, do your job in the run game, in the passing game, and by any means, don't let nobody go through you, man. Don't let anybody throw you around, man. We just need some help out there. Keep our quarterback clean, keep our running back clean, open up the holes. Hey, we could go enjoy a W at the end of the day if you do your job. Let's just hope that this offensive line continues to keep that energy from last week going into this week. And key number 5 is get Brock Bowers involved. Now, we know that Brock Bowers has been dealing with a knee injury all season long. And even though we know when Brock Bowers is healthy, man, nobody could stop this dude. But we need to start utilizing him a lot more. He's one of the best tight ends in the NFL, and the fact that Geno Smith has struggled to get him going ever since week 1 is really tough to see. We need to involve him early on in this game and as often as possible. I know last week Brock Bowers did get targeted a couple of times. He was targeted 6 times, only caught 5, but there was another play where Geno Smith missed Brock Bowers in the end zone, and man, I wish we could have got that back. On top of that, we have got to continue to sustain drives and keep drives going, especially on third downs. And we can't do that if we're not using up Brock Bowers out there as much as possible. Like I stated earlier, Brock Bowers is set to play this week, so I'm just hoping for a big game out of him as well as the rest of this offense. But it all starts with the offensive line, to the running game, to the quarterback play, and so on and so forth. But Raider Nation, that is the 5 keys that I have for this game to victory for our Las Vegas Raiders. And if we can do most of this or all of this, then I have a good feeling that the Raiders can come into Allegiant Stadium next week with that W and sitting at 2-3, which will sound a lot better than 1-4. But what are your thoughts? What are some of the biggest keys that you have going into this game for our Las Vegas Raiders? Do you feel like the Raiders can come out with this victory, or do you feel like the Colts might be a little bit too much? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Until the next video, this is your boy Simone Raider, and your boy is Yow.